Learn the connection between Big Al and 1970 sitcom Three's Company. Discover the original intended location of the Country Bear Jamboree. Hint, it was not a Disney theme park. Uncover the violent lyrics the Bears sang, and much more, as told by a former Country Bears cast member. Here is Country Bear Jamboree's ride through Disney history. Country Bear Jamboree is one of the very last attractions that Walt Disney personally helped develop. In 1966, Walt Disney Productions announced plans for Disney's Mineral King Ski Resort in an area that is now part of Sequoia National Park. Walt originally intended for an audio animatronic show of singing bears to be a feature of the ski resort. The plans for the ski resort were eventually canceled due to opposition from preservationists, but Disney held on to the idea of a bear band show. Bear in mind that Disney wanted Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom to be distinct from Disneyland. So opening day, October 1st, 1971, hosted 3 attractions unique to Florida: Mickey Mouse Review, the Hall of Presidents, and the e-ticket attraction, the Country Bear Jamboree, an audio animatronics show with 18 bears and a raccoon. Not to mention a deer, a buffalo, and a moose who were just hanging around. One of Walt Disney's 9 old men, Mark Davis, responsible for characters from Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, Pirates of the Caribbean, and the Haunted Mansion, was assigned the task of bringing the idea of a bear band to life. The songs featured in the show were mostly ditties from the 1960s, which country music fans in 1971 would recognize. The songs were brought to life by the Stonemans in an old-fashioned bluegrass style that harkened back to an era that predates the songs themselves. Wendell, Teddi Berra, Ernest, Shaker, Zeb, and Tennessee Bear were all voiced by members of the Stoneman family. In 1960, country artist Tex Ritter recorded the song Blood on the Saddle. About a decade later, he was recruited to portray Big Al, reprising his very own song. Even if you've never heard of Country Music Hall of Famer Tex Ritter, you may have heard of Big Al's son. Tex Ritter's son, who was comedic actor John Ritter, star of the 1970 sitcom Three's Company on ABC, almost 20 years before the network was bought by Disney. The Master of Ceremonies, Henry, voiced by actor Peter Renaday, also portrayed Abraham Lincoln in the Hall of Presidents and Captain Nemo in the defunct 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea attraction. Peter not only voiced Henry, but also Max the Deer. Hanging around next to Max was Buff the Buffalo, voiced by Thurl Ravenscroft, famous in Disney circles for portraying the ghost host in the Haunted Mansion. Hanging next to Buff was Melvin the Moose, voiced by Bill Lee, who provided the singing voice for Christopher Plummer in The Sound of Music. Disney World's Country Bear Jamboree was originally sponsored by Pepsi-Cola and Frito-Lay. Henry started the show by saying, "Howdy folks, welcome to the one and only original Country Bear Jamboree, presented by Pepsi-Cola and Frito-Lay." Pepsi-Cola's television commercial slogan at the time was, Henry referenced the slogan by saying, "Just refrain from hibernating and we'll all enjoy the show, cause we got a lot to give." On the West Coast, Pepsi-Cola already sponsored Disneyland's Golden Horseshoe Review, and Frito-Lay already sponsored Disneyland's Mexican restaurant, Casa de Fritos. So when the Country Bear Jamboree opened at Disneyland in March 1972, it opened without a sponsor, with 2 theaters, doubling the capacity from Florida. Another difference between Florida's and California's Country Bear Jamborees was that Disneyland dedicated an entire land to the show. The Indian Village was removed to make space for Bear Country, later renamed Critter Country when Splash Mountain replaced the Snoring Bear Cave and the Bear Country washrooms. Hungry as a bear? Well, Disneyland's Country Bear Jamboree found a sponsor in 1975 with Wonder Bread. Around 1986 came another change to Disneyland's Country Bear Jamboree: male cast members. Up until 1985, the show in California was operated exclusively by an all-female crew. On April 15, 1983, Tokyo Disneyland's opening day hosted their own Country Bear Jamboree in 2 theaters. Located in Western Land, the Bears sang in both Japanese and English. The practice of seasonal attraction overlays, such as Haunted Mansion Holiday and It's a Small World Holiday, holiday began in 1984 with the Country Bears. At Disneyland and Walt Disney World, the Country Bear Christmas Special opened in November 1984. All the same bears we all knew and loved, but dressed up for the holidays, singing Christmas carols. Tokyo Disneyland opened its own version in 1988 called Jingle Bell Jamboree. California's version returned each Christmas season until the attraction closed. Florida's version until 2005, and Tokyo's version until 2019. Riding on the popularity of the Christmas show, a third show, the Country Bear Vacation Hoedown, debuted in Disneyland in February 1986 and May of the same year in Disney World. In this version, the bears sang songs about their vacation destinations. The Disneyland attraction was renamed the Country Bear Playhouse in 1986 to accommodate the change of shows. In February 1992, Walt Disney World brought back the original Country Bear Jamboree show, but the Country Bear Vacation Hoedown stayed in California until the very end. During the summer of '94, a bilingual adaptation of the show called Vacation Jamboree opened in Tokyo Disneyland with several song changes, including Trixie singing Achy Breaky Heart and Big Al singing I've Been Working on the Railroad. Tokyo Disneyland rotated their 3 shows throughout the year: the original show, Vacation Hoedown, and Jingle Bell Jamboree. On September 9, 2001, Disneyland's Country Bear Playhouse closed permanently to make way for Dark Ride, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I was there on closing night to a packed house to cheer on the West Coast Bears one last time. In October 2012, Disney must have felt that the length of the show was unbearable to modern attention spans, so the show was trimmed down by 4 or 5 minutes. Since the show was written in the early 1970s using music that was even older, the sensibilities of the show reflected a bygone era. Fans had anticipated that the new version might have resulted in losing some fan-favorite moments in the show. Disney did trim the fat on some of the dialogue between Max, Bub, and Melvin. More precisely, the fat joke was cut. Previously, after Trixie sang "Tears Will Be the Chaser for Your Wine," you would hear, "That's a mighty big song, Trixie. That sure ain't all that's big." In addition, 2 songs were cut, namely Zeke's solo, Pretty Little Devilish Mary, which included the lyrics, "Had it been married but about 2 weeks, she got as mean as the devil, and every time I looked cross-eyed, she'd hit me on the head with a shovel." Disney may have removed a fat joke and a song about an angry woman hitting her husband on the head with a shovel, but surprisingly, the other song taken out was family-friendly fractured folk song. Surprisingly, 2 songs referencing violence stayed in the show. Henry and Wendell's song, "Mama Don't Whoop Little Buford," remained, whose controversial lyrics were, "Mama don't whoop little Buford, Mama don't pound on his tail, Mama don't whoop little Buford, I think you should shoot him instead." And Big Al's song, "Blood on the Saddle," whose lyrics were, "There was blood on the saddle and blood all around and a great big puddle of blood on the ground." How so much blood got there was left to your imagination, but any reasonable explanation could easily be horror movie material. So although the removal of the fat joke was likely strategic, it appears that the choice of songs taken out of the show was more likely because the bears who sang these songs were already introduced in earlier numbers. Synergistically, Disney started producing films based on its theme park attractions. 2003 alone offered the Haunted Mansion film, starring Eddie Murphy, and Pirates of the Caribbean, starring Johnny Depp. In 2002, the stars of the Country Bear Jamboree starred in their very own movie, The Country Bears. The film was an embarrassment at the box office, costing $35 million, but only bringing in $18 million. The timing was a bit of a head-scratcher, in that the Country Bear Playhouse had already closed at Disneyland the year before the movie premiered, so the opportunities for synergy barely existed. In Disney World, beginning in summer 2024, the Country Bears star in a brand new show, Country Bear Musical Jamboree, featuring new, reinterpreted Disney songs such as the Bear Necessities in various genres of cross-country music. All your favorite bears are back with one modification. Lips McGrowl has been renamed Romeo McGrowl. Not surprising, since the term liverlips has been used in a derogatory way to describe people. Perhaps his new name, Romeo, frames him as the lover he's always wanted to be. What do you remember about the Country Bears? Let me know in the comments. Since you bared with me till the bare end, then you'll love these other great videos about Disney theme park history. Pick one and y'all come back now, you hear?